So we're here with Goal Lion himself, Matthew Colquhoun. Welcome, bro. Thanks for joining.
Respect, Virgin.
And you don't know, we always start the jam with a little jam. So, we know that Matthew is a man who, when you're trained, he's all about e-commerce.
E-commerce, man. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, e-commerce in the house.
Big tune, big tune.
So yeah, only put things to talk about. I mean, Matthew and I go way back actually. The first time I met you was probably around 2010. Around them times, I was thinking about doing a documentary on martial arts. And you know, you were on the come up, you were doing your training with Danger and them, man.
Yeah, man.
And I remember the first training session that I shot with you guys. I wish I could find that footage. It's probably the hard drive crash of 2012 or something that killed that. But you know, we were in a church, you know, a small church, just doing some training and thing. And you know, and we've come a long way. Now you're the 3-time Pan-American Sambo champion. You're 8-4 pro. You've signed with Dragon House. You're with Dragon House MMA. Signed with LFA, which is a big deal. So you're doing big things. And you're making big moves. You have a big fight coming up, and we're likely to see you on the Contender Series soon. What does it feel like in this moment?
I mean, I feel really excited for this fight coming up. You know, we've been in talks back and forth with LFA. You know, we had a different opponent before he got injured. You know, so that was scrapped. I was supposed to fight back in early October. That got scratched. So we're in the balance. You know, just waiting to see. You know, if we could get an opponent or because I really wanted to fight this year. I couldn't get to fight this year. Non-tall this year. Just the coronavirus really, just shake up a whole heap of plans, not just for me, but the entire world, really. You get me? I had like 3-4 fights scheduled, and all of them just, got cancelled. And, so I'm excited and I'm ready to get back in there, ready to go back and doing what I love, you get me?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know the feeling out to the world that, like, with all the cancellations, and it really does feel like you're living in limbo. So I wanted to get into your origins. When I met you, you were, very much like a capoeira guy.
Yep, smart.
What was your martial arts story? Like, what got you started? What did you study, etc.?
Well, what really got me started, it was my brothers. I have like 5 brothers. I grew up with 5 brothers, and I'll be a war, isn't me? Remote control war, TV war, game control war. You see me? So my man just tired of we just mashing up everything in the house. You get me? So yo, listen, I'm gonna find something to do. And surprisingly there was a kung fu school, like literally like down the street from where I live, down in Duane Park, and they were offering free classes.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, so like they were going around and passing out some flyers and things. You get me? And my mother get one and she said, here, wanna go on, come with us.
So it was you and all their brothers?
Yes, me and like 3 of my brothers. Got 2 of them were like older, so they never really were interested or had time for that. So it was me and 2 more of my brothers, and we all started it. We really liked it. One of my brother, his first session there, he was kicking. We were learning to kick. And he was kicking, and he kicked and actually broke his foot.
Oh my God, the first day.
So him done. Him say, yo, no more, love that, goodbye.
Is that one that your mother never take out all I know?
First day kick him go to class, him broke his foot. Broke his foot, and but I catch that, the sensei there saw me, and he saw that, he was showing the moves, and I was doing it pretty well. So I said, yo, you have potential, come regularly, so I just never had anything else to do. So I just started going there and started to learning a little bit of Kung Fu. And then I met Simpson for the capoeira. He came in the community, he was doing capoeira in the middle of the road, He just come and, you see a tall white Rastaman with this bedding bow, this weird instrument, never seen it before, and then they'll play right in the Midland community, you know, we don't know him from nowhere. He just come and they start playing. Him and two other guys come and they were doing capoeira. And I'm like, wow, wicked.
Yeah.
I love the local flick up and little, you know,
so you never saw capoeira before?
Never saw capoeira before.
You never watch Only the Strong, bro?
Hold on! After I saw capoeira, I learned about holding the strong, you see me? So I never know about capoeira, so I see it and I say, yo, this wicked, you know, I want to learn for side flick and back flick and all them thick there, you see me? So I started going with him, and that's how, you know, I got exposed more to more different, you know, martial arts, you know, because some of the guys came from Brazil and they were doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu before they started capoeira. So I would be there and I was just watching and observing. That's where I met Danger, that's where I met Jeff Abdul, you know, and, you know, just watching it and seeing it and got interested in it, you know, and like, yo, I never thought about fighting on the ground before.
Right.
You know, I always think about, yo, that's not fun kicking boy face and thing. That's it, you know. Watch a Waipa karate movie, you know.
Of course,
so,
of course.
you know what I mean? So I laugh at that Waipa
yeah.
karate movie and things. So it was very alien to me to see man them on the floor rolling and getting submissions. I never know what a submission was apart from, you know, WWE.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I see all these different moves and I'm like, yo, this wicked, I need to learn this. So I just started going and just, you know, started learning it. And Jeff Abdul started this little group called Underground MMA, and then I just started going there and start learning about it.
This whole time it was meant to be underground. Cause it I thought it was just underground.
No,
like underground.
But
that's a clever play. I never figured that out.
Man. Everybody like would say, yo, underground. No, it's on the ground. Underground MMA, you know, we started that and I started learning jiu-jitsu and I got very, very much, you know, involved in the sport, wanting to learn about the sport, wanting to learn about the art. You get me? So that's how I started out. That's the origins of my martial arts.
That's awesome. So when you learned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or when you were seeing them do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and them things, were you watching UFC by that time? Had you seen a UFC?
Yeah. When they started doing Jiu-Jitsu, I started going to capoeira classes on across from Mega Mart, what's his name? Arnett Crescent. You know, they would pull up, you know, his name was Capochese, he came from Brazil. He had his laptop and would pull up some fights from in Brazil, you know. So that was underground MMA.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Some fights.
What year was this? Like what?
I would say like 2012, 2013.
Okay.
Same time.
Okay.
You know, 2012, 2013, and you know them usually, you know, watching these fights with man in a cage. First, I seen people in cage and thing and fighting in Brazil, and I'm like, what is this? And they're telling me, oh, this is mixed martial art MMA.
It was Valetudo them time there.
Yo.
Oh
some
my
wicked
God.
stepping off his TV.
Yo, Valetudo was a different thing.
Yo, some wicked stuff in the face and man with one pair of glove and all kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, this wicked. Yeah, man. So I started getting interested in it and started looking up about UFC and, you know, looking about MMA overall and seeing that, yo, it's a sport that is just growing rapidly, you know, and me just being a physical person, you know, growing up with a lot of brothers and things, you know, we're just always physical, always, you know, into sports, you know. I played rugby for a very long time, you know. I played rugby in high school, you know, played for the under 19 national side.
Oh yeah, sir, brother.
Yeah, man. And but martial arts just took me, like, it just captivated me, you know what I mean? So I used to play rugby and, you know, learn the takedowns and things. So when I go back into training with these guys, you know, I was doing some rugby takedown, you know, and he would start teach me. So I just started getting interested in the technique behind this and not using brute force, and you know, so it just bit me there. I just continued wanting to learn, continue to anywhere in martial arts there, you'll find me. I'll go there and you know, just wanting to learn.
So how many martial arts you think you've kind of absorbed? How many styles of martial arts you think you've absorbed over the time?
A few, you know, because, you know, I started traveling around 2015, 2016, going to like Colombia and different places, you know, around the Caribbean, in the States, and started learning Muay Thai, learn a little bit of Muay Thai, learn a little bit of Kung Fu, learning a little bit of more Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling, You get me? Kickboxing. So, you know, it was just a melting pot where I just took out a little from Deso, a little from Deso, and just throw it in the blender, in the matcha blender, and just blend it up, and this is the style that, you know, came out. So, you know.
So when you got involved with Sambo, was it that you were studying Sambo, or it was just like, yo, I have all these skills, I could put them to use in Sambo?
Again, I just grabbed that opportunity of learning a new sport. You know, Danger came back from Trinidad, you know, I had competed in Sambo for the first time. And so, yo, it's a cool little sport. It's kind of like MMA, you know, so why not try it, you know? We're not going there for no medal, you know. We're just going there for experience and just, you know, make connections and see what go on. So, you know, I jumped at that opportunity. It's alright. I just gonna go and see how it go. We never really had any official Sambo training or nothing like that. Just me, Danger, and a couple man on the beach, go on the beach or run and do some wrestling. We're not on a gi. So we just, you know, I do a thing, and, you know, them say, alright, they're gonna have a Pan-American championship, and them say, oh, we can sponsor like 3 athletes for go. It's alright, awesome. We can go then. I went, and, you know, surprisingly, I never cut weight. I never really knew about cutting weight, so I just, whatever I weigh, that's what I'm gonna compete at. Right. So I went there, I weighed maybe 185 or around that. And, you know, some big guys, because they never have the 85 category, so it was 90 kilo and up. So some big guys, so I said, yo, I just gonna go anyways, right? But I went there and I compete, and I never really knew too much about the wrestling, so it was just predominantly striking. I was just striking. I was just trying not to let them hold me and just strike, and, you know, my striking I was just too fast on the feet, and my striking just, you know, outclassed them, and, you know, got the first goal, first Pan-American Games first goal, you know. I'm like, yo, it was just crazy. I'm like, well, alright, can continue this.
And that's such a Jamaican story, man, because just natural raw talent of Jamaica, you give us opportunity and see what happens.
Yeah.
And for those who are not familiar with Sambo, it's very much mixed martial arts. It's a Russian martial art, which is a blend of karate and judo. And clearly was Japanese influence coming over early into Russia and sharing that knowledge, and, you know, the art developed from it. And now we see all these incredible fighters coming out of Dagestan and Russia who are Sambo champions. Man like Khabib, man like Hamzat now, who is coming up as the next, you know, superstar, you know, maybe. And that's such an interesting thing, because you see the dominance behind these fighters, not only because they have that, you know, rough Russian mentality, and, you know, them man, they're just dangerous, but also because it's a pretty effective martial art. It is.
It's a pretty effective martial arts, and, you know, you have to have a lot of discipline. With any martial arts overall, you have to have discipline. And Sambo. When I went to Russia, because I went to Russia in 2016, I went to Russia and I saw these guys training. I mean, I got there the night when I got there. I came out of the hotel room. The Russian team was down by the gym training. Got eat dinner, come back, still training. I get up about 3 o'clock in the night because the time zone was different, so I never really adjust. But come out and say, start walking down. I see the same guys them down there training.
Wow.
It's like,
and this is at a competition.
And these guys just training. So these guys have a lot of discipline, and these guys, you know, this is their sport and their pride, you know. So they take a lot of pride in it. So they have to do their best. They have to perform their best. You get me? So, like, I'm not surprised when I hear that most of these top athletes did Sambo, because it instills that discipline in you and that drive, and it's just that rough raw training, rough raw energy from what them get from the Russians coming up. Just the sport, you just bring that rawness there, and you just have to be disciplined to go forward.
It's a way of life too, because it's such a different thing when you live for a sport as opposed to when you're just living your life and doing a sport on the side. Because we see, like, And I want you to now tell me about, you know, some of your experiences, because I see that when you do your training camps, say for instance when you were in Colombia and you moved to Colombia, what was that like? Like, what was it as opposed to training camp in America where you might be sleeping in a bunkhouse or something like that?
Yeah.
Explain to the people what that's like.
I mean, me traveling to do sports, to just train for better myself. You know, I always, you know, it was always on a budget. You know what I mean? A seriously tight budget. And I go there and it just became a lifestyle, you know, traveling and learning and creating connections and, you know, learn about different cultures in different countries. And, you know, that gave me a brighter perspective on the sport, on different, how people are in their culture, I mean in their country, you know, how the sport is in their country, how they see it as, you know what I mean? So that gave me like a broader perspective that Jamaica couldn't give me because the sport wasn't developed. Sport was not developed to, you know, we have a lot of gyms or we have people that, you know, a lot of MMA fighters or people training or, you know, so we didn't have that. So to go to a different country and see somebody just going out there training, you know, enough of them, you know, just sleep in the gym, just chasing this dream to be, you know, a fighter, to be a champion.
So was that your experience? Were you sleeping at the gym too?
Yes, man, I sleep at the gym enough time I there. I could remember a few incidents. I see a few times where I was in Colombia and really I run out of money. I'm out of money. And I just developed this relationship with a virgin over there, John Salate in Bogota, and he owned the gym and say, yo, look, Matt, I couldn't pay for the hostel I was staying in. So I'm saying, yo, you can stay at the gym and, you know, wipe up the gym and things, stay at the gym, you can do whatever you want. So I stayed in the gym for like 4 days sleeping, you know, until I was able to get some funds and things, man. But enough of these guys come from inner city communities, you know, fighting to provide for them family, just chasing that dreams, you know. So it was a good experience. I made a lot of good friends, a lot of connections throughout the Caribbean and throughout, you know, different countries I've traveled to, and MMA just brought me closer to a lot of people that had the same desire and the same, you know, direction that I was, you know, aiming to get to.
Yeah. So this new team that you're with now, Dragon House MMA, it seems like once you went with them, a lot of big moves have happened for you. Like you've gotten, you know, these big name fights, and of course now we're getting ready for a fight against Mark Martin, which we expect that once you do well with this fight, you're going to contend a series. How did this relationship with Dragon House MMA start, first of all?
Really, first of all, how I end up in California was just, you know, I met my girlfriend, my wife, online. You get me? We were talking and, you know, we went online and, you know, created a relationship and training in Florida, working in Florida with, you know, some of my virgins, you know, just hustling, trying to get some money to save up, so, you know, when next time I can, you know, go to a gym and, you know, pay for like 3 months and, you know, stay and learn. So yeah, we went online. She's like, yo, why don't you come out to California and maybe you can, you know, maybe you can find some opportunities out here. So I'm like, yo, California far still, you know. Far, got Florida just the right to say, you know. 2 hours you that madam yard, me I look for 10, 11 hours to come from California. So, you know, it took me a while and, you know, relationship got a little more serious. And I said, alright, I gonna go out there. So I went out there and once I landed, I said, alright, you know what, first thing first, you know, I'm going to try to find some gyms to train because, you know, this is what I like to do. Apart from, you know, going to visit my wife and thing, you know, I'm going to seek, you know, other financial opportunities. You know, I say, yo, always, wherever I go, I try to Google the closest gym to where I stay in. And, you know, I Googled a few gyms like El Nino, which is it's a very big gym in California. El Nino, Alpha Male, AKA, and, you know, but these gyms, when I go there, they were a little bit distant, a little bit far from where I was staying, and plus, you know, the the fees were a little expensive.
Right,
So I'm
right.
like, you know, if I look on the budget and look on Marv and, you know, calculate this and I say, alright, it's not really work out because I pay this much in transportation and then I pay this and that. So I say, you know what, I'm trying to find someone closer. So I went to El Nino and I was training there for like 3 days, and a friend of mine, I met this guy there and he was like, yo, you know, there's a gym even closer to you. It's called Dragon House. Go check them out. You know, so I went there and, you know, I saw the seafood there and I tell him that, you know, I'm a fighter, I'm just traveling to come learn, you know, add more skills to what I know. So I'm saying, alright, come through, let's see what you have. So I went there the next day and, you know, they were doing jiu-jitsu. I'm like, alright. Went in there, started doing jiu-jitsu and, you know, training with these guys, and I'm saying, alright, come again tomorrow, you know, didn't charge me. You know, so I said, alright, cool. I went there and it was striking day, it was Chinese kickboxing and Muay Thai, and they were doing it, and I go there and striking is what I like to do. You get me? As a man grew up, I always know, you know, the way for karate movie when I watch and teach a couple moves from there. So I'm going to go to Colombia and learn the Muay Thai from this guy, this world champion Muay Thai, Vendetta. I'm going to look for him, I don't remember his name. Eddie Vendetta. And I learned Muay Thai, and, you know, the guy said, yo, you have some potential at the end of the class. He said, if you want, come train with us. You know, I won't charge you. You can't just come and train and, you know, just come through. And I'm like, wow,
that's amazing.
That's a good deal. I don't have to pay to see me because, you know, the cheapest gym membership that I saw was like $160. You see me? So I'm like, alright, go there free. You know, you don't have a lot of, you know, popular fighters like AKA down the street, or, you know what I mean? But I'm still learning, you know what I mean? And I went there and, you know, started training with these guys, and, you know, a lot of their fighters were in Bellator and LFA and, you know, the contenders, and, you know, we just started linking head with these guys, and, you know, saw it really improved my game to see how these guys were just going and, you know, getting me tired and real tired, and they're still going. I say, yo, you know, this gym really pushing me, and I say, you know, I have to catch up with these guys and keep up with them. And I just started going and just really dedicating time in there. And, you know, the Sifu saw that, Zonglo, he saw that and he saw my dedication, and he said, alright, you know, Matthew, we going to test you out and a little kickboxing fight if you want. So I said, most definitely. You know, most definitely. Always ready. So I said, yo, he got a kickboxing fight out in Southern California, and I went there, and, you know, before I went to the kickboxing fight, I went to Dominica for the Pan-American Games. I went there and I kind of injured my finger, injured my hand and my finger and, you know, I came back and I said, yo, you still want to do the fight because your hand injured? And I said, yo, what's your number? One hand I go in there to fight with. I went in there one-handed and fought and won the fight. And I said, alright, we're going to take you. We're going to take you into, you know, the pro class and thing, and, you know, get you acquainted with the guys them and see, you know. And that's how the relationship developed from there, you know. Developed, and Sifu is just a great guy. He's just a great guy. And,
what's his name? You know, Sifu what?
Zonglo.
Sifu Zonglo.
Yeah.
As you talk about fighting with one hand, you and I have a story, because when we went to Bahamas to fight,
yes,
your hand, you had just come from Pan-American, I think.
And the hand was broken. And the hand was broken.
And my youth have a fight, and him go in there, and I'm seeing them wanna throw the hand same way, they wanna throw the fist, and eventually you choked out the guy already.
Yeah, it was I think it was the arm bar.
It was an arm bar, yeah. But you were ground and pounding, you were there moving around and striking with him, and eventually got the arm bar.
Yeah.
First round,
yes.
And I remember afterwards your hand was completely like before it was a like fracture.
Yeah.
And now it was split.
It was severed, man.
So while we go celebrate, homeboy had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, you know, it was just crazy, man. Like a couple of days before the fight, I was like, yo, you know, it was a hairline fracture, and I said, yo, I talked to Daniel and I talked to some other guys, and I said, yo, listen, I'm have this fight in the Bahamas, you know. Do you think I should take it, or just, you know, let myself heal and thing? And everybody like, yo, don't take the fight, relax, make your hand heal, come back 100%. So I'm gonna say, alright. So I talked to the promoter Kent, and I said, yo Kent, you know, I have this injury. And I said, yo Matt, there's no problem if you know. Yeah. So I there and say, alright. I give you some time to think about it, and let me know. You know, but you can't wait too long time for the final replacement for the guy. So I go there and I said, John No Star, all this time training and thing. Can't make it no waste, man. Can't make it no waste. Somebody just say, this I say, I just go and do it, Virgin. I just go and do it. You know, nobody really knew apart from you and, you know, a small amount of people. So I said, alright, I just go and fight in orthodox, different stance, and, you know, minimum damage. That went out the window, talk about fight after that. So I just start throw. I just start throw, and you know it
worked out great.
It worked out, you know what I mean. You know that was a story.
Man, people don't understand, you know. Like, so even my last fight, the mostly the second week into training, you know, like
already your shoulder
completely tore out my shoulder, tore all 3 ligaments in my shoulder. And nobody, like I couldn't tell anybody what was happening, but I knew I wanted to fight. Like I knew I could not back out of the fight no matter what, and had to find ways to keep myself motivated, to keep myself up, because you know it fucks with your it messes with your confidence.
Of course it does.
It messes with all kind of things, and it's really the mind more than anything, and that's what, you know, that's what we learn as fighters too. That your mind is so much more powerful than the body. And it doesn't really matter what's going on with your body. Once your mind is in the kind of strong place where you can keep your confidence and you can keep the drive, then you're still going to do great things.
Of course.
But you know, and for those who don't fight, this is something that we go through all the time. Yeah. It's not unusual at all.
It's not unusual. Like I'm here, or sometimes I'm here in California, and my teammates have like a Bellator fight coming up, and then in training all we hear is I'm on knee fly out, or he's the main him got taken down badly and him have injuries, but I'm not gonna pull out of the fight. Him don't start invest a lot in it, invest time in it, invest, you know. So he goes in, a lot of fighters go in, like I don't think any fighter really goes in 100% for
unless
a fight.
Them never train properly.
Unless them don't train.
unless
them don't train, I don't think no fighter at all goes into a fight.
I've had 100%. That debate with people where, you know, talking about, I've had that debate with people who I've trained with before.
Yeah.
Talking about, if I train like that, then I'm not gonna hurt myself for the fight and then can't fight. But the truth is, if you don't fight in training, or if you don't, you know, go hard in terms of technique and contact, sometimes then your timing, your even your stamina when you fight, like there's so much more energy that you have to expel when you're trying to actually hurt someone than when you're trying to go light with them. So you have to prepare yourself and prepare your body and your mind for that situation, and the best way to do that is by putting yourself in the situation.
It's funny that last week I watched an interview with Dana White. I think it was the previous card. I think it was Teixeira and
Santos.
And they were saying that actually 80% of the fight is on the card, you know, was over the level. They tested over the level for THC marijuana. You see me? So we're asking Dana, yo, what am I do about that? Because, you know, and Dana, one very important points he brought up, that some of the fighters, they train so hard in training, and sometimes them smoke a little bit for ease, you know, to get them body relaxed, or you know, ease whatever injuries they might go into, you know. So you were talking about, you know, lightening the penalty for, you know, because it's being legalized in so many states,
so many places, it don't make no sense for it to be, and it's not really a performance enhancer.
It's not. So, you know, they have this rule now where, you know, I think it's
just don't come in the cage.
Don't come in the cage. Like the day of the fight, they're gonna test you. You just don't have to be at above the average, above the limit that they set. You get me? So you can't smoke up until the day before the fight.
Perfect. Speaking of which, Itopia Life, 10% discount with the code Be Mighty. You don't know, go there, get your products. And you see, that's the thing, like nowadays everybody's on CBD.
Everybody's on CBD
because
or sunflower.
Yo, God put this here for us to use, man. And
Yeah.
it's natural stuff that we're using.
Mm-hmm.
It's not pharmaceutical, it's not no holy pot, blend up business.
No, and it doesn't really enhance your performance. Enhance your cardio. It doesn't enhance.
No.
So it may even do the opposite, but
It might do the opposite.
but you get me.
Now we have so many fighters who are backed by marijuana companies, like myself, like you too, because you have one of them.
Yeah.
And man like Sugar Sean O'Malley have him own, him own thing, him own straight. Like, it's such a thing. Like the whole mentality towards marijuana has changed, thankfully, and we see how that has kind of like led to a new industry in the sport, or increased industry, for the sport and so on. But we were just mentioning the fact that a couple of our brethren fighting soon. So we have Val the Animal, December 12th combat night.
Big up yourself,
Val.
Yeah,
Good luck with this fight. We know say you're gonna do damage. And Val, that fight is interesting to me because I think Val is changing weight class again. And this is a man who started from heavyweight.
Yeah.
And is on his way down to welterweight, which is incredible when you think about it. And you're a man who has moved around in weight class as well. Like I fought my whole career at 185 at middleweight, and you've fought at welterweight, lightweight.
Yeah, that's it. Welterweight and lightweight. I was bouncing between there, just to find. And
you're a big dude. You're what, 6'2"?
6'2", the most sometimes I weigh like 205.
What?
Yes, man, sometimes I weigh 205 and then I'll cut down and I know that there's talks about cutting a fight. I'll probably cut down and start walking the road at like 185 and then 180. You get me? But since like maybe the past 2 years, I've tried to stay between the 185 max going,
Right.
Yeah, but also you have Jason Jackson fighting next week.
Yep, Jason Jackson taking on Benson Henderson, which is a huge deal to me because Benson was one of my favorite fighters at one point. Yo, I know people don't realize some of the things that are now, everybody's trying to do it now because they realize how effective it is. That came from Benson Henderson.
Yeah, man.
The calf kick. The first man to be consistently using the calf kick was Benson Henderson. The first man me ever see thump a man pan him knee, thump a man pan him thigh, was Benson Henderson. When he said to him, jab a man thigh.
Man.
It's incredible. So it's a big deal. Former UFC champion, and Benson has been over to Bellator. Admittedly, he's not done that great at Bellator.
But he's always in the top ranks, He's always
him still fighting. Him always fight the top guys. Like from him enter, them give him mostly number one, and he's always been fighting the top guys. But it's a big step up for Jason. What do you think about this fight in terms of keys to victory for Jason?
I'm training with Jason in Florida, but then before he moved out.
So was that Black Zillions?
Black Zillions, yeah. I trained with him, me and him link up, and Jason is just a phenomenal striker. The man there have strike for days, just go at it, and he's a man with a back. Him staying there.
We saw that against Luke Rockhold. The man them a spar. There's a famous sparring video with him and Luke Rockhold, and the man them just get into it.
And it's been that way from Black Zillions days. Like the first time you go there, and I sparring, and the man then put on some raw slick palm bridge. I was like, yo. I'm like, yo, this is, and they're like, yo, this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is how we train. You get me? But I think the keys to victory for Jason, training with Henry Hoof, who been the head coach for Michael Chandler, and Michael Chandler recently beat Benson Henderson. So I think they have the formula, the planned out, knowing that Jackson is a very good striker, primarily good striker. He's going to try to keep it on the feet and stay on the outside and box and kicks and a lot of kicks, a lot of but I think he's going to stay on the feet. He's going to try to just use fight on the outside, use his speed, his footwork,
and he has reach on him too.
Yeah, man.
He's a lot taller.
I think it will Henderson is more of, he's very good jiu-jitsu. So black belt,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Black belt jiu-jitsu. I think he thinks that, Jackson doesn't have that type of jiu-jitsu, but Jackson has been working. He's been working.
And Jackson has a wrestling background too, innit?
He has a small amount of wrestling background. It's more of a striker from what I see,
Okay.
from what I have seen.
I agree with you. I think he's susceptible to those strikes standing, and the last showing that Jason had with Bellator was extremely impressive in terms of how he pieced up the brother.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
How he fought off the takedowns.
Yeah.
Because the guy was trying his best to take him down, and Jason was just fighting on the outside. Using his reach, 1-2 basic combinations. He was just using 1-2 leg kick, 2-3 basic, boxing, and just utilizing the space, in the cage. And I look forward to seeing this fight. I think, if he wins this fight, it's going to be a big boost for him. He's already in the top 10 in Bellator welterweight ranking. A win over Ben Henderson, will probably shoot him up into the top 5. Because Henderson fight for the title a couple of times. He has never won it.
He's still up there, top 5.
He fought for a couple, a couple times for the title. You know what I mean? So this is a excellent fight for Jason. You get me? I look forward to it. It's next week. I'm gonna ensure to sit down and take him in. And
it's Bellator 253. It's the 19th of November. So next week you can tune into is DAZN.
DAZN
or Paramount. It's Paramount.
Yeah, I think it's Paramount.
Bellator is on now.
Paramount, but you can catch it on DAZN too, and I think the prelims are free on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man, you can catch the
excellent.
prelims on YouTube.
So, we can't not talk about the Uriah Hall Anderson Silva fight. Anderson, I'm sure Anderson was one of the influences for you too.
Yes.
Especially the way you strike. And has been an influence for many of us. So it was really, as much as I'm happy for Uriah as a Jamaican winning that fight.
It was a bittersweet moment.
Man, it hurt me. It was
a very bittersweet moment.
And you know why it hurt me too? Because Anderson was winning. And I feel like the shot that he got caught with, younger in his career, would not have put him out.
Yeah, I believe so too. Uriah has power, most definitely.
Oh, for sure.
But sometimes I think he's a little gun shy, where he's very hesitant with his strikes, and he doesn't have that killer instinct, that drive to I'm going there, I'm just gonna go at you. He's very, he calculates his attacks. He stays there and he waits. He wants to get you to react, so he can, counter. He's a counter fight. He's a counter striker. He likes to strike, not first, but he gets you to react, and then he counters. But I believe Anderson just out of his prime. His age catch up with him. He was one of the best fighters in the world. Ever do it, Regine. Watching one of Silva's fight. If you were going against Silva, everybody would point us. Yeah, clown. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. You know what I mean?
Man.
He was just that legend. He's a legend now. He's a legend now. He still is a legend. He paved the way.
It's really sad to see a legend fall like this.
Yeah,
I wish he had retired, or I wish they had allowed him to retire.
Yeah,
years back.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons I brought up Uriah versus Anderson is because I wanted to talk about one of the things that Uriah said, which is that you fight to make your idols become your rivals.
Yeah.
For you, is there someone who you would still be active in the next 3-4 years, who you would love to fight?
Oh, they're all retired.
All your idols are retired.
They're all retired or out of it. You know what I mean? Jared St. Pierre was like one of the he was the guy I used to idolize. I mean, I still idolize the guy. You know what I mean? Like he was just a well-rounded, just superb fighter that who mixes his techniques very well. You know, had striking, had jiu-jitsu, had submissions, had wrestling. You know, was just there.
Full package.
The full package. You know, he's my idol. He really, you know, got me into, you know, wanting to become a fighter. I wanted to aspire to be like someone like him. You know, so like it would be George St. Pierre. Khabib is you know is right there. You know what I mean? He retired, but I don't think he's gonna stay retired for very long.
No, actually,
he's going to want to fulfill his father's
his
wish.
Manager, Abziz,
pushing him.
He just said 30-0 in a tweet and left it there. So I know for a
it
fact he's gonna fight again.
I mean, he said make a promise to his mother.
But you know, his mother never know.
Yeah.
His mother never know that he was gonna do that. So I think his mother.
That was his.
Afterwards was like, yo.
All right.
I didn't mean for it.
Yeah, you know, he probably went home, spoke to Mummy, and said, yo, Mummy, you know, this is what Dad wanted for me. You know, he wanted. This was his.
Yeah.
Aim for me to reach 30-0 and call it quits. So I have to fulfill that. You know, that wish. Because the man loving father, you know what I mean? Father really, you know, contributed everything for him sport to where he is right now. His training, you know what I mean? He was been there for almost all in training camps. Only ones he could have been is the ones in the States, you know, where he had to leave. But, you know, and father mean a lot to him, you know. So going to fulfill that wish to be 30-0, I think he's going to do it.
I think so too.
I think he's going to do it.
Yeah, his father means way too much to him for him not to do it. So with this COVID situation now, and I mean, we've seen it affecting fighters. We saw, you know, Randy Brown against Vicente Luque. We could see that he didn't have the kind of training camp that he would have wanted, because we know Randy's normally like the fittest thing, and we saw that the conditioning got to him in that fight. You've been here. You spend all your training camps are basically abroad.
Yeah.
But you've been here for a longer period just because COVID and all of these things.
Yeah.
So, what is your ideal length for a training camp, first of all?
Well, ideal length is, you know, it's like maybe 6-7 weeks.
Okay.
You know, ideal is like to have like a full blown training camp, 6-7 weeks. You're good, right?
And how long are you gonna be in with Dragon House for this one?
We're gonna have
leave tomorrow.
Yeah, so basically it's going to be like a 3-week camp.
3 week.
You know, like I've been in contact with my coach and everything, and you know, I've been staying fit physically, you know, strength training and just working on my cardio and just doing a lot more groundwork, you know, just staying, because I don't really have a lot of sparring partners and other things right now at the moment. So we just been doing, you know, the physical aspect of it, staying fit, staying in shape, building that strength.
Yeah.
And when we go over tomorrow, we get to California, we really start creating the game plan, start, you know, formulating the plan and formulating what we're going to do, and you know, really, you know, adding the tweaks to what we're going to do. So
yeah, I mean we've been training together a bit, and you know, you have a couple other guys that we've been training with, but it's from the facilities to, because we've been training basically at a yard, outside just laying down some mats, and you know, we get it done.
Yeah.
But it's very important, and I just want people to understand that it's very important that we have the ability to simulate a fight, and that's what is lacking for a camp like this, which is why you would need to go away, which is why you need to be with a team, and also with people who are in that frame of mind preparing for a fight.
We need to create something where we as a community of fighters, community of martial artists, can come together, and if I might have a fight, you know, outside, or you know, we can come together and create that environment facilitate training to help each other to get out there, where, the more local fighters here get exposed, they'll create more opportunities. It will bring back eyes to the island. We want to create an environment where we can get fighters, we can get fights, and it's fights where it's a proper matchup, proper management for fighters. Because if I had a proper management in my earlier stage in the career, I believe I would be way further than I am now.
Yeah, management is a big deal.
So we have to create that environment where we can grow the sport and grow the athletes and grow the sport overall in the island. So when it comes on to competition, or it comes on to training camps, we can have that brotherhood of fighters helping each other, helping the sport to grow in the island.
And this is great to hear coming from you, because congratulations, by the way, you just got elected president of the MMA Jamaica Federation.
Yeah.
And so it's good to hear that someone like yourself has this mindset, because you're in a position to start working towards this goal.
That's exactly that's exactly what I really sat down with the guys, Cleon and Daniel and even Radcliffe. I was speaking with them to kind of create that bridge, even between myself and you. Just kind of create that bridge where we can come together for the growth of the sport. You get me? Because if the sport grows, everybody grows.
Everybody grows.
You get me? And that's where I am right now. I want to see growth, not just for myself, not for the next man, but for everybody. Where everybody can benefit from it somehow or some way. You get me? Where we can develop just the athletes, develop the MMA. Cause that's what I'm about, the development of MMA. Because we have a lot of youth, recently, a lot of young youths been hitting me up, interested in learning the sport. I want to become a fighter. I'm a big fan of UFC now, because UFC just everywhere. A big fighter, MMA world, Bellator, them I watch it, right? And them want to do it, but right, some man say, we can't train this because Ray, or we can't train with this guy because Ray. And when I say, we need to get rid of that. We need to put whatever happens between people, personally or outside, we have to kind of put that aside, come together and say, all right, this is what it is, all right, whether a man wrong a man, or somebody had something against somebody, or something happened, right, and people just don't get along. But you have to look into yourself to see where it may stagnate the sport, where we can't get fake grow. Cause that's all I've been thinking about lately, is just the growing, how we can grow it, how we can create opportunities for other fighters, how we can do this to grow the sport in the island. Because as we see, it really took off. MMA is the number one sport right now in the world. You know what I mean? Now almost every week you have a fight. Every week you have a fight, and from what I see from traveling all to different countries, is the unity within the martial arts community, the unity of people had their differences and them come together and say, all right, look, how are the differences? We had that. Let's put that aside. Let's focus on the growth of the sport. And I see where in Colombia when I was there, it was segregated, very segregated, but them come together. And now they're just having so much events. It may not be big ones, but they're having little events, and that's what you want.
It's growing the industry.
That's what you want. It may not be big, but you're having local event here where a gym comes support that gym there, and a gym comes support the gym there, because really and truly are the new generations of fighters. It's of a benefit. You get me? Because that's really and truly that's what I'm doing right now. And that's what I want to do moving forward. Right now, I'm kind of focused on the fight. So, I told Daniel and all these guys and say, I want to do this. I want to help the sport grow. I want to do my part in helping the sport and helping the next in line of fighters to come up and get exposure, You get me? So that's what I really planned on doing with when it comes on to MMA, just creating that bridge where everybody can come together, connect, and see how we can move forward.
Straight.
Real talk.
Yeah, straight. And in that spirit, we're going to cut it here. Big up yourself. Good luck, my bro.
Respect.
You don't know. I think you definitely have the skills to get this done. I don't think this fight is gonna be something you have to worry about per se. You have to stay on your guard. You have to, you know, we're going to put in the work no matter what, and we're going to get that victory. And we're glad to see that we're finding growth in the sport. We're finding ways to move forward, and future look bright. Future look bright.
Man.
So you don't know. Make sure to follow at @gold_lion.
Yeah, Goal Lion J.
Gold Lion JA. Follow the journey. See what's happening, and we're gonna support him on
December 4th.
December 4th. We're gonna tune into Jason Jackson next week. We're gonna tune into Valley Animal and Combat Night December 12th.
Yes, man.
You don't know, Jamaicans doing big things as
Home and
always.
abroad.
At home and abroad.
Yes, man.
As always, be mighty. Blessings.
Respect.
Yes, I am.
That was good.